Hi, friends. Welcome to episode 22, part 2, where I talk about the history of the famous Czech general Jan Žižka. Do I say Jan in this episode? I hope I say Jan. I mean Jan, probably Jan Žižka. I watched this movie literally just called Medieval on Hulu a while ago, and I was like, what is this? Is this Czech propaganda? And it totally is. Definitely was like paid for by the Czech Film Institute and all of that. But it's a fun story. It is a medieval story about a general who was very famous, who won a lot of battles. He lived to be very old. He did a lot of it with only one eye and an eye patch. So the statues of him have an eye patch, and just a good old fashioned knight in shining armor story. So, hope you enjoy. This is episode 22, part 2. Thanks.
In the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA096.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Yeah, obviously, I guess. Well, first, I wanted to tell you that as I've been working on this outline for like days, and it's whatever. And I was like writing it last night, and my mom and my sister are here. Do you remember like several episodes ago when you said that Lights Out was one of the scariest movies you've ever seen?
So scary.
So I've never seen it, and so Juan was like, "We have to see it," because he was like really wanted us to get scared, you know. So he was like talking about it. Then my mom and my sister are so funny, and they're always like, "Oh, we've seen every movie. We don't want to see anything again." So Friday night, they were like, "Oh, we've seen it. We don't want to see it again." And we were like, "Okay." And then last night, they were like, "Oh, now we're not sure if we've seen it or not." And we're like, "Oh my God, we should just watch it." So we watched it, and it was super fun. It was so scary. 5 minutes in, I was like, I had already screamed. And my mom and my sister wouldn't stop talking because he kept being like, I remember this. I remember this. Oh, I don't remember this part. Da, da, da. Like just talking the entire time, which like made it more fun. But it was a good one. I jumped a lot. So I feel like I don't do that very often.
Do you think it was one of the scarier movies you've seen?
I think so. It was very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried watching it again maybe like a month and a half ago, and I couldn't do it. I got like maybe like I finished the warehouse scene and was like, I'm done. I'm good. I can tap out.
That's the beginning. And like the
Yeah.
very first thing that happens, I screamed really loud,
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
which was very fun. So it's a good one. So thank you for that recommendation. I just want to tell you that.
Yeah.
So we're drinking Jesus' blood today because we're talking about Catholics, and I'm breaking the rules again because there are no rules, but I am going to talk to you about a winner, not a loser, who is the most celebrated warrior in all of Czech history. So he's like, they call him the Czech Braveheart, like the best warrior in all the Czech Republic. His name is Jan Žižka. So
Jan Žižka, okay.
I'm of Czech origin. My brother Kincaid studied abroad in Prague, and we went to like the little town that we're from right outside of Prague, and it was super fun. We like saw where my great grandparents were born and things like that. On my mom's side, my grandma spoke Bohemian, so like from this area, like for like generations back. So I definitely wanted to go back and think more about like my people. And I got here because I was home alone a while ago. There's a movie on Hulu that's it's just called Medieval, like the word. I'm like, what could that possibly mean? So I watched it, and then I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like I was like, something was weird, like something was off. The guy who plays Jan Žižka is and I'm saying Žižka, I think it's Ziska with a bunch of accents in different places.
Right. Yeah.
And he was played by Ben Foster. Do you know who Ben Foster is?
No, but I'm going to go
He
to
was
my
on the Disney show Flash Forward. That's when he was little, and then he inexplicably dated Robin Wright for a while, and then now he's married to Laura Prepon, the girl from Orange is the New Black in that '70s show. He's
I
like a
do know this
Scientologist.
guy. I do know this guy.
Oh,
He
he's a
was
Scientologist.
yeah, he was in one of my favorite movies actually.
Which movie?
I'm looking it up right now because I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's called The Apprentice or something along those lines.
But he plays Jan in the film, and he looks like very rugged, like he has like a beard and everything. So I didn't really recognize him until later. Michael Caine is in it as well, so it does have some like famous people in it. But when I was watching it, I was like, something's off. Like, what is this? And it is straight up Czech Republic propaganda is what this film is.
Do we
Um,
dislike that though?
no, I like it, but it was just like that's the weird thing. Because you're like, this feels weird. It's a Czech movie. It's the most expensive movie ever made in the Czech Republic, and it's 100% in English because it like
Yeah.
they wanted to like, share it with the world, which is like fine. I listened to a podcast about the making of the movie, and the dudes who were in it were like, yeah, this is something we learn about in school and want to share it with the world. Like it's what they learn about when they're little. They learn about Jan Žižka and how like brave he was. So they also have a lot of it, like a lot of stuff in the film is made up because they don't know a lot. This is the 1300s, so it's a really long time ago. They don't know what really happened. A lot of the things are like whatever, but when they were making the movie, they had a historian, and the historian kind of like read through everything and watched the finals, and they were like, could this have happened? Like we're not saying it did happen, but we're saying like we don't want to like have a car drive by, or something that we know like could not have happened. But we want like, could these things have happened? And then all of it was like, yes, like it could have been. So,
Do you know what's funny, Taylor? Is I did the research for because I thought I keep mixing up Ireland and Scotland. So when I was in Ireland, I did the research for Braveheart and William Wallace,
mhm.
and I was like, A, it's Scotland, not Ireland, and he was in Scotland, not Ireland, and B, it is considered the most historically inaccurate movie that has ever been made. Like it's crazy. Like it's like they're like nothing about this is close to William Wallace's actual life or his activities. But
I
anyway,
believe that. We're
yeah,
not separating the art from the artist on Mel Gibson.
right, yeah, we yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep,
let's not do
yep,
it.
got it.
So, anyway, so you should watch it. It's super fun. So, so this is essentially like listen to some podcasts about this. I read a book about Jan Žižka, and basically this is a relationship between the Czech people who are having their own Protestant Reformation and the Catholic Church. So it's basically like there's going to be crusades, there's going to be tons of wars. So the Czech people some people were kind of pulling away from the Catholic Church and following another Jan, a Jan Hus, and he was like the Czech Martin Luther. So they were like Hussites. So like basically like the thing with Martin Luther and with the Reformations is that the Catholic Church was like you could sell your way into heaven, you could buy your way into heaven. So you would go to church and you would give them money and like jewels, and they'd be like, you're gonna go to heaven. So like it's not obviously it's not true, but like people thought it was true and they were mad about it. Like,
Yeah, it seems
um,
cheap. It seems like a cheap way to get into heaven.
exactly. Like it's cheating. Like it's not how you can do it. So here's what's happening in the Catholic Church. This is very confusing. So we're in like the early 1400s, starting in 1378. It starts to be a crazy thing called the Western Schism in the Catholic Church, where there are all of a sudden there are three popes. I mean, live in different places, and they're each like, I'm the Pope, but you don't know like which one is the real one, and there's a lot of that kind of at the same time. So the red flag I put is as soon as the Catholic Church started to have this schism and have more than one Pope, you should run because Catholic Church is already awful, and now they have like more popes. So like that's a red flag.
Dude, I do
Bad.
kind of love it though. 'Cause, like
It's a
whatever,
disaster.
I'm the Pope. Like who are you to say I'm not the Pope? Like
And I know I could research this for like my whole life, but essentially yes. They're like, well, I think I should be the Pope. You're like,
yeah,
what? You just like bought a white hat? And you're like,
God,
pretty sure it should be me, guys. So yeah, we'll talk more about like, the different popes, but there's a bunch of them. But Jan himself was born in 1360, probably. Again, like it's hard to go back, but his name is on some property documents. It starts to kind of come up in like legal things around 1378 when he would have been 18. So it's assumed that like that was when he like was able to like do those things, even in that time.
yeah,
So it could be him. I think that's him. It's a chance that he's younger and born later, but like we'll never know. But one thing we do know about Jan is that he lost an eye when he was a child. It could have been any number of fucking dangerous things in the 1300s. Like walking outside, you could lose your eye, I imagine.
oh
Like there's
yeah.
just, you get like a splinter in your eye, it's gone. Like there's just so many things.
Get a
And
splinter in your eye. That sounds
you know what I mean? Like
awful.
that and like, yeah. So I can't imagine how like gross and smelly and dangerous everything was, especially for a child. So like I feel like having a child lose an eye is not a big deal because like at least your child survived because there's so many things going
Yeah.
on. I think it might have been in the last podcast, but I read somewhere where it was like, if you're alive in the Middle Ages, you're disfigured. Because
It was their
was it them?
it was
Yeah,
the
because
Black
like
Plague one.
yes. Because like no matter what, like, if you break your arm's not like gonna be set correctly ever again. So like most people are disfigured in some way, and his way was he only had one eye.
God, it's so crazy. It's so true.
Also in the medieval movie, there's a woman who's like helping him, and she's like a princess, but there was really no woman like that involved in the story. But he did have two wives, both named Catherine, but they both passed away kind of early. So he is able to kind of go off and be a warrior and not worry about anything at home. So it sounds like his family got into, he was kind of born into the minor nobility, so he wasn't like, well, I was gonna say he wasn't dirt poor, but everybody was dirt poor, but he was like poor.
Right,
He's,
right.
he was like minor nobility. It sounds like his dad had to like sell some of their property, like something happened. He was in debt for some reason. He became a gamekeeper for like the local ruler, and there's a chance that Jan worked there with his dad, but he ended up becoming like a bandit. So after like his at least his first wife died, he may be married to the second wife. It's like the late 1300s, and him and his group, he's not the leader, but he's in a group of dudes, and they go around and they rob and they plunder and they make deals with like different little towns. They're like, oh, we'll protect you if you give us money, things like that. So he was like just like a bandit out in the woods. He is out there. Things are like kind of happening, but nothing super crazy. And then all of a sudden we have the Western schism, so the Catholic Church is going crazy, and that kind of like starts off the Hussite Wars because one of the popes declares a crusade on the Hussites who are in like the Czech Bohemia area trying to have this Reformation.
So is a crusade in this context just a bunch of religious people who follow the Pope as a general, basically?
Yeah, I mean he doesn't actually go,
No, no,
but
no. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. He's not going to spill his wine on his way, out into battle. But yes, he could be like I send a crusade to you. So he sends a crusade of his like, and we'll talk a little bit about the Teutonic Knights in a second, but essentially they're like the evil, I think is fair, Catholic knights that just like, they were the ones who did the crusades and killed a shit ton of people for like no reason.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough. I'll agree with you on that.
So the Holy Roman Empire at this time is like all of Europe. And so Jan Žižka is kind of a bandit, kind of fighting for like the people, and then there's Jan Hus, who's like the Martin Luther of the time. In 1415, Jan Hus, the religious leader, was burned at the stake by the Catholic Church, and that surprisingly didn't stop everybody from believing him. It made everybody mad because that's it riled people up.
Jan
So they
Hus
did.
was not a pope type. He was just like some guy, part of the Catholic Church, said, "We got to kill you."
Yes, yes, he was like Martin Luther. So he was like, let's bring religion back to the people and not have all these like ways you can buy your
Oof,
way into heaven and
they
everything.
don't like
So
that.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's burned at the stake. So that triggered a revolt among the Hussites, and they wanted to, start to fight. So here are some of the Pope stories. This is very confusing. So I don't know, I'm sorry. So the first division, the Western Schism that lasted from 1378 to 1417 that I've talked about, there was Pope Urban the 11th, or no, the 6th, who resided in Rome, and Pope Clement the 7th, who was in Avignon, France. So there's one in France and one in Rome, and there's a third one somewhere too. It's Alexander the 5th. He was elected in like a compromise, but he died, and then his successor, John the 23rd, was the third pope.
Got it.
So the third pope, John the 23rd, his real name was Baldassare Cosa. He was born in 1370 in Naples. I just think that's a dope name.
Oh yeah.
Baldassare Cosa from Napoli.
God, that guy just can. His blood is wine.
Exactly. So the popes that aren't like the real pope, once they like everything, all the dust settled and like moved back, there were the ones that weren't actually like the real one after all are called anti-popes, which is also a cool name. Some of them are anti-popes,
That's cool. Than
and
being called a pope.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we could do an episode on every pope and all like the shit that they did. Like so many of them did so many bad things, but I just also wanted to mention that there actually was a more recent Pope John the 23rd. This was in the 1960s, and he was born Angelo Giuseppe Roncalli, also Italian.
Wait,
And
Pope John Paul, the one that we grew up with?
no, no, this is one before that. This is the one from the 58 to 63. But I think this is the one that one was like in our parents' lifetime. And he picked his name, John the 23rd, as a tribute to the first John the 23rd, the one during this
in like the 1400s. But he's the one that did the stuff like we don't need to have mass always be in Latin. Like mass was in Latin until like 1960.
Well, they wanted that, right? Because that made them seem like you had to go to them for salvation.
Yeah, and that's the exact thing that like Jan Hus was against and Martin Luther was against 500 years
Yeah.
in the past, you know? They're like, yeah, make it accessible to people. And then they like, go crazy with it. Anyway, dun dun dun, anti-popes. So all that stuff is happening in the Catholic Church. In the meantime, this is a hard time to like get a lot of information about because it's 1400. There's not a lot of information during this time. It's like the Dark Ages, quote unquote. You're not supposed to say that anymore, but it's
Really?
that. Yeah, because it like implies that nothing was happening, and it also implies that like other parts of the world also weren't great, which is not true because there were just like revolutions and cool things happening in like Asia and like other parts of the world. So anyway, it's this time. In Berlin is about a century and a half after this. So now we have a crusade. Pope John the 23rd declared a crusade against Hussites. And so now they're heading towards Jan Žižka and his people in like Bohemia, Czech Republic area. The first big battle that Jan was a part of is the Battle of Grunwald. It was also known as the Battle of Tannenberg. It was on July 15th, 1410. And it was like the beginning of the Crusades. So it began, it was between like Poland and Lithuania on one side and the Teutonic Knights on the other. So the Pope had sent the Teutonic Knights to do this. So they're an order, a military order of knights that have been active since the 13th century, but really I think since the like 11th century until now, they still exist as like a
Yeah.
thing. They had the Battle of Grunwald was, a big battle. The Teutonic Knights had a much bigger cavalry. They had a lot more people, and they went and invaded and they lost. So in Poland and Lithuania in that area right now, it's a symbol, it's like a national pride. They're like really excited that they beat the Teutonic Knights, and Jan Žižka was there. He probably, he wasn't like a leader, but he was most likely there. So then there's a whole bunch of other battles that Jan Žižka is involved in. He starts to kind of move up and become a leader. He ends up getting like enough, plunder and money and all these things. He has a castle, but he only has one castle. He doesn't like go crazy with it. He's just like really wants to be out there in the field, like with the men fighting.
He's
So,
modest.
a modest castle. No big deal.
Right.
No big deal. In 1419, there's an early battle of the Hussite Wars. It's Žižka he defended the town of Sudomer against like an army, and he used a thing called a wagon fortress. So he, like I said, like never lost a battle. And one of the things that is because he had a bunch of new military ideas that had never been done before. So one of the things is a wagon fort. So in Czech or German, they call it a Wagenburg in German, but it's like essentially a fortification made out of the wagons. So he would like circling your wagons, but like very seriously and like chaining them together so that you basically made a wall that people weren't able to get past. So in front of the wall would be a ditch. So people would like come like running towards the carts and towards the wagons. Then they would like fall into the ditch and they'd have like that to deal with. And then behind the wagons would be more people that you didn't see coming.
Okay.
So it was like
Good
a
strategy.
way, yeah. So it was a way to like surprise people that hadn't been done before. They also attacked at night, which was like very, very uncommon. I know that's even something that we hear from like the Revolutionary War is that someone attacked at night and no one ever imagined anyone would do that because it's fucking dark.
That happened in Texas. That was how Texans got back at Mexico for the Alamo.
Yep, just do it at night and no one ever expects it. This is also the beginning of like gunpowder weapons. So Žižka was one of like the first people to use gunpowder like in battle. He would put cannons on wagons and like move them around the battlefield, and that had never been done before. So it was like the first like mobile artillery essentially. The Czechs at this time this is just from Wikipedia, but they called the handgun a pistalia and their anti-infantry field guns Hofneis, which are where we get the words pistol and howitzer.
Oh, cool.
So they were like the first people to do that.
Pistalia.
Yeah. So you would like be able to shoot out of the Wagenburg and like out of the wagons in like in different ways that just like hadn't been done before. And that's why they kept winning all these different things. So later in the year 1420, there's another battle it's called the Rabbi Castle. And during that battle, he loses another eye.
Jesus.
So now he's totally blind. and he has someone like just like kind of help him like maneuver and get around, but he still commands the troops. And he's still like very active in the military, even though now he's completely blind.
I mean, obviously he's not fighting; he's devising strategy. But like,
Yeah, but he's like there. He's not
yeah,
not
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Pope isn't there, but he's definitely there. There was he was during this time like he's also fighting like the Teutonic Knights and the Pope, and then also just like the regular military, not military, but like royalty, nobility people who want to be in charge. So one of them is like a King Sigismund that they go back and forth a lot and get in a lot of like a lot of different like battles. There's a bunch of battles like on with against King Sigismund, who was actually the Holy Roman Emperor. Actually, they defended a fortified position near Prague. That was another victory there. And then he fought against the Crusaders using the Wagenburg. He fought against them in Germany, so in Nemeki Broad area. And he's like, it's like kind of like battle after battle of him, like even after he's completely blind, like still continuing to win, which is why he continues to be like a Czech hero and in like Czech history. So besides all of that, he ended up, fighting and like being a part of it up until his death. He died in 1424, so he would have been about 60. And he actually didn't die of in battle or anything. He died of a disease. They said that he died of the plague, but now people are rethinking it and we'll never fucking know. But said it was kind of more like maybe like a sepsis, like an infection. Also because like everyone had like blistering wounds all the time anyway.
Yeah,
Like
makes sense.
it was dirty
Wait,
and gross.
Taylor, I missed this part. Was he fighting the Catholic churches?
Yes. He was
That was
fighting
the
the
entire point. He was
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He was fighting the Teutonic Knights that the Pope had sent the crusade like against them. So they were fighting that, and then eventually they were like fighting with like the nobility in the area just for like the common person, just for like the regular person to be able to like, understand the Bible. It's, he was very religious, like, you know, do it their own way, and then also be able to just like be able to like have more freedom than the Catholic Church had given them. So that was like the main thing. And then it was him as like a leader of the Hussites who were following Jan Hus from like from the beginning. And so he afterwards, so they had kind of right before Žižka died, they tried to like invade Hungary to like get more land, but like that didn't work. They didn't even really do it. They just kind of like went in, it wasn't going to work, and then like went back. And then after he died, the same thing happened that always fucking happens when like a strong leader leaves, is they had like a civil war within themselves,
Yeah, yeah,
within the
yeah.
Hussites. So it was internal divisions. Some people were moderate, some people were more radical, some people wanted to go back to the Catholic Church, others didn't. And then so they ended up like negotiating with the Pope and with the Catholic Church via the Compact of Prague, which was signed in 1433. So it was kind of like a half and half. And then it continued to like just have battles and people weren't really in it anymore. And then so eventually it totally was by the end of the 15th century, so the end of the 1400s, it was over and they were just dissolved back into the Catholic Church
Oh
for,
shit.
whatever Pope happened to be around. So the revolution lasted like 100 years and it didn't actually ultimately achieve its goal.
Dude, going back to Braveheart, he also didn't accomplish the goal because Scotland
Yeah,
is still part of the UK.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but yes.
But if anything, it's like Ireland's the one you should be like respecting. Ireland's the one. North Ireland is part of England, but like the Republic of Ireland, the South part, that's not like they actually successfully seceded from the Union or whatever the kingdom, which sounds like that didn't happen here either.
Yeah,
Weird how we romanticize that.
I know.
Well, it's bravery. It's whether you win or lose, it's still bravery.
Yeah, and it's exciting to like, I mean, it's exciting to think about a knight and to think about like all these like, ancient battles are fun to think about. Medieval battles are fun to think about. You're like logistics are so crazy. Like, I mean, I guess also to talk about Dan Carlin when he talks about like a medieval battle and like an ancient battle, like it's miles long of wagons of
Oh
people,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's like, oh, this guy brought like 5,000 people. I'm like, what the fuck do you get 5,000 people to follow you somewhere? Like, and like bring your stuff. We're walking, like
I don't know,
come
man.
on.
I think I could get like at least 4 people to go to battle with me.
I was gonna say, I wish I could get more than 10 people to listen to this podcast. They're not
No,
following me
we're crushing it.
across Europe.
We're crushing it. Once we do get more than 10 people, that's when it starts. That's when they have to
It's
pay
just like a
attention
snowball.
to us.
Like, oh, why are those people standing in line? Oh, they're going to fight the Catholic Knights. I think we'll win. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. You're like, how okay, like 5,000 people were going on a walk. You need 10,000 shoes. It's too much.
I know when you start doing logistics, you're like, man, I'm just gonna stay at home.
Exactly. Like,
Be
who's gonna
whatever you
figure
want to
this
be. You want to be
out?
Catholic, be Catholic. Who gives a shit?
Who's gonna
Um,
you guys gonna have to stop and pee because I don't have time to stop and pee every 5 seconds for all 5,000 of you.
dude, Taylor, our Pope, the Pope of our childhood, he was born in Krakow in Poland.
Yeah.
Pope John Paul II. Yeah,
And then there was the one now is Italian or Brazilian?
it's something South American,
Argentinian?
Argentine, yeah, Francis, who seems kind of cool. Who actually, like, I think is kind of cool. It was better than that child molester they put in place, Benedict. Or was he a Nazi? I don't remember if he was a child
He
molester
was
or
a
a Nazi.
Nazi. He was
He
in
was
the
a
Hitler
Nazi.
Youth.
I'm sorry. I don't. I'm sorry for besmirching him by calling him a pedophile. He was just a Nazi.
Yeah, no. The Catholic Church is chock full of pedos.
And also those. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I think
Benedict.
that's fair.
Man, this guy looks so scary. Benedict looked really scary. John Paul looked like a sweet old man, but Benedict actually looked kind of scary. I'm on his profile now.
It's a
Joseph
weird thing.
Aloysius Ratzinger, like the most German dude in the world. Like, of course he was a nut. He was
Well,
born in
yeah.
1927. I don't even blame him. He was a
No,
German
100%. He was a kid.
born. Yeah, he was a kid born
Yeah.
like 20 years before the end of the World War II. Like, of course, he was 18 when World War II ended. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like he obviously was like, I have to protect the homeland from everybody else. I don't know. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I get it, and also, it's still wrong. like, don't be a Nazi. But I get why you were, but just also, it's still wrong.
Yeah. If you see someone being a Nazi, you should stand up and say, "Hey, man, don't be a Nazi." I have a Biden Harris sticker on my car, and I called it a profile on courage because I'm going to drive through this small town with my Biden sticker on my car.
Hey, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think that Biden's gonna get through the primary? Because I think that he's gonna get challenged. Like, I mean, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is gonna challenge him, but like, man, that is tough to see Biden doing like a debate against like a primary challenger. Like, if we get like a good Democratic candidate up there, like it would be tough for Biden. I think.
No, I don't think so. We don't
You
really
think
do
he'd do
that.
it?
No. I mean, we don't, Republicans do that, but Democrats don't really do that.
I think Bobby Kennedy's gonna try.
Well, yeah, but he's a piece of crap. We've talked about that before.
Taylor, didn't he not announce when somebody went and posted on our Facebook page about Bobby Kennedy? He hadn't announced yet, had he?
No, he hadn't. And then because I just talked about I was posting about how he sucks, and someone was like, "He's a great Democrat." I'm like, "No, he's not. He's a fucking vaccine denier piece of crap,
It's gonna
conspiracy
be,
theorist."
dude. It's gonna be interesting because that's my take on it too. I'm like, there's no chance this guy gets more than 20 feet through the primary without getting just bashed over the skull with his anti-vax stuff. And then I was like, dude, I thought the same thing about Trump. I literally said the exact same stuff about Trump.
But I
and
think
became
we're different.
president.
It's different. It's just different. Like I feel like it's well, no, okay, maybe I'm wrong because the thing that Trump does is it validates people's hate and their stupidity. So if you're a Democrat, you're looking for someone to validate your stupidity. Bobby Kennedy's your guy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
But
he just like he might hit that, he might scratch a very specific itch. And who knows what happens, right? Who knows what the Republicans do, which ends up taking swing voters to one side or the other. Like, there's so much to be defined yet, but it's
how can you be a fucking swing voter?
I don't know. Dude, God, it was it Bill Maher who was like, if you are undecided, you must have like a brain tumor. Like, remember this? It was like the 2016 election. It was like, how do
That's
you go
fair.
into the last like 2 weeks of the election?
And those are the people
undecided?
who make who
They make all
matter.
the decisions. Yeah, they make all the
Ugh.
decisions. It's just like think about that, Taylor. The least informed of
I
all
know.
of us define all of our futures. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and during all these things, there's just people like trying to survive, you know, and then you can be like, I don't know, I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me, but like it does. So that's why you have to care about it. But also you're just trying to live your life. I don't know.
I can see our next podcast being political.
Should we battle? Should we just have like a battle it out on like a field and everybody gets to wear armor? No
I think that's
guns.
called a civil
Just
war.
really, oh, it is. Oh no.
I think you're advocating for civil war.
I backed into that one.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
happens. It happens.
Well, oh my God. So my aunt and uncle are traveling through the country right now. And they just went to Gettysburg, and we have like a great, 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 great grandfather who died there on the bad side. He was a baddie. And which is terrible, and like I feel gross about it, but there's like a tavern that our family used to own, like some gravestones and like plaques to be like, oh, the family was like a big family there in that area, which is cool. It's cool to like know that about them. But then my aunt was saying that the bones of the Confederate soldiers were like my great 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 whatever grandpa's bones would have been in that pile. In the 1960s, a bunch of like women like raised money in Virginia to have them taken back to Virginia, and I'm like, those fucking racist bitches in 1960 being like, this is what we're going to spend our money on. Let's dig up these Confederate soldiers and bring their bones back south.
That's when you don't have anything else going on,
Oh my
right? Like you have
God.
nothing. Like they should have raised a child into thinking that they have leukemia. Like that would have
Oh,
given them life more purpose. But like,
I know.
I don't know. There's a part of me like I also buy into the whole we are a product of the time we were born into. And also, like, there's gotta be a cutoff. Like, if you think
Yeah.
owning people is good, that has to be the cutoff point. Like
Yep.
there's a Rubicon I can't cross, and that's probably the one.
That's exactly. Like you can't be smart and also think that's okay. You can't be both
Which,
because
like,
it's dumb.
again, Ratzinger, this fucking guy, like, why? Again, I understand it, right? You're raised in a time, but also I don't know. Maybe the Germans didn't know what Hitler was doing to the Jews. Maybe like they thought like, oh, we're just trying to support our own nation. Like I don't. Maybe like it was okay being a Nazi back then because you didn't know what they were doing. I don't
I think
know.
you knew what you wanted to know. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like in now and then in all these cases, like you know what you need to know to survive, and whether that's like, okay, I need to like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna finally have permission to be an asshole, so I'm gonna do it. Or you're like, I'm gonna ignore it because I'm busy with my life, and then all of a sudden it's so many bad things have happened and you've let them happen,
yeah.
you
That's a good
know?
point. I like that. I like that framing on it. Thank
So
God
we're
we're not
all
gonna be like that, Taylor. Me and you.
I was just gonna say we're all complicit in the shit show we're living in right now. But
I've
you said the opposite, so
I've done nothing wrong to anybody ever.
I'm just trying to survive. But yeah, I want to know more medieval stories. I think it's super fun. A medieval battle sounds dope as hell and real scary and scary as shit to see those Teutonic knights coming at you. I feel like they wore like the white robes with like a big like red cross on it, you know, or like a big black cross, and they're just like coming to kill you. They didn't
Dude,
do it.
Ben Foster, the movie I was thinking about was Alpha Dog. Remember that one?
I don't know. Let me see.
Justin Timberlake was in it. Ben Foster played a Jewish neo-Nazi, which was incredible. And Justin Timberlake and his friends kidnapped Ben Foster's stepbrother. And like that's how they all kind of got tied in together because Ben Foster owed him drug money.
Huh.
Never seen it?
No, this is definitely a product of its time, though. I'm watching the trailer.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's actually a true story. Like it actually legitimately happened.
Bruce Willis is in it?
Yeah, Bruce Willis is in it. Sharon Stone is in it. Justin Timberlake. There's two really famous actors who one of them ended up dying.
Oh, Anton Yelchin, the guy who died in like the
Yes,
thing. That was terrible.
yes, his Jeep crushed him.
Oh, what an awful way to die.
But he was in it. He was the kid who ends up getting killed in real life too. It's a good watch. It's a really good watch, especially when you know it's a true story. You're like, and like they actually stayed super close to the source, so like it's
Hmm.
actually how it went down. Like they literally were like, we now are in too deep and have no idea how to extricate ourselves from this situation. We have no choice but to kill this kid. Like that's actually what ended up happening. Like they didn't want to kill him. You know, like we went too far. We have no choice. It's
Whoa,
fucking crazy. Yeah.
that is crazy. That's
Um,
crazy. I don't know, I feel like we have a lot of morals of this story today.
Don't be a Nazi and don't be a pope. You know what? If you can prevent being a, if somebody ever asks you to be a pope or to create a papacy at home, don't do it.
I don't know. I feel like
Or
it's kind of fun.
or call or do it and call yourself an anti-pope, which is like a
Yes,
dope ass thing to call yourself.
that's exactly it. Be like, bring the jewels to me instead, y'all. I'll get you into heaven.
Yeah.
I'll write you a receipt.
Yeah.
And yeah, 100% anti-pope.
Yeah. Oh, start your own church then. Go all the way.
Why not?
Why
Like,
not?
nothing could possibly go wrong. You'll be fine.
What are you doing the rest of the night?
Oh my God, we're gonna watch Succession. Don't tell me. Have you watched it? Don't tell me anything.
No, I don't watch Succession.
Okay, today's the
I've watched
last
like 3
episode.
episodes.
Today's the last episode, and so I'm very excited / nervous / all the things. And I'm on my phone. I have to like stop talking to you because I cannot be on my computer for the next hour and a half because I don't want to accidentally see something.
Okay, yeah, fair
Because
enough.
people on the East Coast have seen it and I just can't. So, but yeah, I'm very excited.
Cool. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go smoke a cigar and play fetch with Luna.
I had a dream that I bought a pack of Marlboro Reds, which is like not what I would buy if I was buying cigarettes, but I was like real excited about it.
Taylor, I don't like to smoke cigarettes, but I would definitely, if you come here next time and we like get drunk,
No.
we will definitely get a pack of cigarettes.
100% no, I can't because then I would be a smoker. But if we ever are like
No,
the
but
world's-
once if you did it,
no,
like
no, I know.
it's so
Nope,
fun
nope.
though. It's so
No,
fun.
I know. That's why I dream about it, and I know I can't do it. But if ever like the world's definitely going to end in 5 years, then I'm smoking like immediately. I'm going to go buy 10 cases of cigarettes. So, well,
Dude, I'm not wrong, right, Taylor? Like smoking's fun.
it's the best. The
It's
fucking
so
best.
fun.
I love it. Yeah.
So when I was in Ireland, I took this one or somebody, I forgot who it was, it might have been John, who took a picture of me, and I was in my 3-piece suit with my pocket watch, and I had my leg up, and I was like smoking a cigarette, and I looked
Oh,
so cool,
it makes
so
you so
cool.
cool.
so cool, and I was just like, I can never use this picture anywhere. Like I can't use it on social media, on professional social media. I can't use it on dating apps, like nothing. But it's like the coolest picture of me that's ever been. I'm gonna text it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you sent it to me. No, I remember I smoked cigarettes for a long time, and then when Juan and I were dating, first starting to date, I did, and then he was like, "We would never have found each other on dating apps because you would have said you smoked, and I wouldn't, and I would never have dated someone who smoked." And I was like, "I would have lied. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Like 100% would have lied."
Yeah, who actually is themselves on a dating app?
I've never been on one, but I'm pretty sure I would have lied about being a smoker.
Okay, Taylor, did you get my text message? It's
Oh
coming
my
through
God,
right
I
now.
can't read.
Dude, look at those boots. Look at the boots, the 3-piece suit. Like it is the coolest.
Shit.
Dude, I got the beads, I got a pocket watch, the 3-piecer. Like it is. It's on point, and I can't use it anywhere. Such a waste.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, I wish that there was more research into making cigarettes not kill you because I would love to start smoking again.
I mean, if this podcast doesn't take off, that can be our get rich plan is safe smoking.
I'm sure they would have done it if they could. Like all those people who smoke Juul pods whose lungs are falling apart, So
This, like I said, I think this will kill you. Like this is so much worse than smoking a cigarette. I can feel it like killing me right now.
yeah, those are way worse.
Way worse.
Mhm.
Way worse. Okay, Taylor, I'm gonna go
Oh
ahead
my
and cut
God.
this off.
Wait, no. Everybody please like and subscribe and share if you haven't already. And if you like, hey, also a question, if you don't know us, can you say hi? Because I'm like, why would someone who doesn't know us listen to this? So please let us know if you do not know either of us personally and you've listened to more than one. I'd love to know why. Please give me an email, doomedtofailpod@gmail.com.
Taylor needs this. Please.
I really need this.
I'm literally gonna go create 7 fake email accounts and email you from each one of them.
You're gonna catfish me and be
I'm
like,
gonna
"Forrest,
catfish you.
we have so many fans."
We have to, Taylor. We have to. We're getting so many downloads every week. Like those are not our friends. Those are not our family. Like nobody has family or friends that are that loyal consistently. So it's working. Something's happening.
Something's happening.
But it needs to happen more of because I need to retire. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor.
Bye.
Let's see. Where's the damn thingy?